Contribution. I love it. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Bluster, you're a madman, but you've got style. As Grimsby walked away, still chuckling, Bluster turned to Casey. His eyebrows were gone, his wallet was lizard spit, and his pride was in tatters. I'll get you, Casey, Bluster whispered, his voice trembling. If it's the last thing I do, I'll see you and your lizard in the brig. Wowie, wow, wow, Admiral, Casey grinned, adjusting his cap. Wowie, wow, wow. And as the sun set over the Isle of Insanity, Sidney the lizard crawled onto the deck of the Salty Dog, swallowed a stray $10 bill, and settled in for a long, happy nap in the tropical heat. The war continued, but at Prawn Harbor, the real battle, the one against sanity, had already been won. The Mutiny of Sector 7, Delta, A Chronicle of Galactic Incompetence. Chapter 1, The Gravity Sink Belt Crisis. Commander Barnaby Blood Pressure Baxter was not a happy man. In the grand hierarchy of the Galactic Peacekeeping Force, he had been assigned to the most miserable dust ball in the Gilded Rim. Sector 7, Delta. It was a lunar base that smelled of recycled socks and failed dreams. Baxter slammed his fist onto his hover desk, sending a half-eaten protein bar floating into the zero-G corner of his office. Wow, he whispered, his voice trembling with a mixture of awe and sheer, unadulterated rage. Wow, 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 wow. Standing before him was Lieutenant Pip Puddles Penhaligon, a man whose primary contribution to the military was being the first person in history to trip over a flat holographic display. Gravity sink belts. Penhaligon, Baxter roared. You are the logistics officer of this godforsaken rock. If the medical droids need gravity sink belts to keep their trousers from floating over their sensors, you snap to it. Shake a literal leg. Use a cybernetic one if you have to. Sir, the requisition forms are stuck in the subspace relay, Pip stammered, adjusting his oversized helmet. And the petty officer's lounge has a leak in the liquid nitrogen taps. The whole place is becoming a skating rink. Baxter groaned, clutching his chest. I am a commander of a lunar fortress, not a plumber. My stomach acid is currently potent enough to melt through a starship's hull. And now, the worst has happened. He pulled up a secure transmission. The face of Grand Inquisitor Malachi, known across the stars as Iron Solis, glared back. He's coming, Pip. Malachi is coming for a surprise inspection today. If he sees the state of this sector, the leaking taps, the droid trousers, the fact that Captain Silas Sly Thorne and his crew of Nebula, 7-3 scavengers are currently running a gambling ring in the cargo bay, he'll have my head mounted on a pike in the Imperial Plaza. Baxter's eyes darted around. A desperate, brilliant, and utterly cowardly plan formed in his mind. Pip, do I look sick to you? I feel quantumly unstable. Yes, a sudden bout of lunar fever. I'm far too ill to meet the Inquisitor. I must appoint an acting base commander to face the music. Baxter's grin was predatory. And I know exactly who to appoint. Someone so incompetent, so reckless, that Malachi will spend the entire inspection court-martialing him instead of looking at my budget reports. I'm appointing Silas Thorne. Chapter 2. The Scavenger King takes the throne. Captain Silas Thorne was currently occupied with a very important task, teaching a three-eyed space lizard how to play poker. Thorne was the captain of the Rust Bucket, 7-3, a vessel held together by duct tape, prayer, and Silas's sheer refusal to obey orders. When Baxter's emergency summons reached him, Silas found the commander draped over a biobed in the med bay, groaning like a dying whale. Silas, my old friend. Baxter wheezed, looking surprisingly healthy despite the fake sweat he'd applied with a spray bottle. The medics. They don't know if I'll make it. I need a man of action to lead the base. I'm appointing you, acting base commander. Silas narrowed his eyes. You want me behind the desk? Barnaby, I'm a deep space scavenger. I don't do paperwork unless I'm using it to start a fire in the life support system. I've already appointed Pip as your executive officer, Baxter added, ignoring him. Now get to my office. That's a direct order from a dying man. As Silas and a beaming Pip Penhaligon marched toward the command center, the chaos began immediately. The base's communication array lit up like a supernova. Commander Thorne. The supply droids found the gravity sink belts, but they're the wrong color. Commander Thorne. The Petty Officer Club's sinks are overflowing with blue goop. Commander Thorne. There's an unidentified ship entering the sector. Silas slumped into the commander's plush hover chair. Pip. Tell the supply droids I don't care if the belts are neon pink. Tell the plumbers to use the blue goop as floor wax. And as for that ship, identify it. It's High Exarch Karim of the Andromeda Fringe, sir. Pip shouted, nearly knocking over a vase of synthetic lilies. He's arriving with his 3 daughters for a diplomatic summit. And, oh no, Grand Inquisitor Malachi Shuttle just landed behind them. Silas Thorne took a long sip of Baxter's private reserve Sinter whiskey. Well, Pip, this is going to be one of the happiest disasters of my life. Chapter 3. The Sultan and the Hula Holograms. The High Exarch Karim was a man who took his dignity very seriously. He arrived draped in robes of woven starlight, followed by 3 daughters who looked like they were bored enough to start a civil war. I am Karim, the Exarch declared, standing in the middle of the rust bucket, 7-3's hangar bay. I travel with my most valuable cargo. Do you, Commander Thorne, promise to protect the sanctity of my daughters? Absolutely, Silas said, leaning against a crate of illegal fuel cells. We're the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. Sanctity is our middle name. Right, Pip? Actually, sir, your middle name is Danger Zone, according to your file. Quiet, Pip. The trouble started when one of Thorne's crew members, a burly mechanic named Grog, decided to throw a Welcome to Sector 7 Delta party in the base's air raid shelter. He had managed to bypass the base's holographic emitters to create a Paradise Island simulation, complete with simulated hula dancers and a fountain of fermented fruit juice. When Grand Inquisitor Malachi arrived, he didn't find a disciplined military outpost. He found Silas Thorne teaching the High Exarch how to drive a PT-73 scavenger craft while the Exarch's daughters were missing from their quarters. Thorne! Baxter screamed, having miraculously recovered the moment he heard the Exarch was angry. Where are the princesses? The Exarch says they've been abducted. They aren't abducted, Barnaby, Silas said calmly. They're at the spa. The underground, blast-shielded, air raid shelter spa. Baxter's face turned a shade of purple that was medically concerning. Malachi is headed for that shelter right now. He thinks it's a den of iniquity. Silas scrambled. He ordered Pip to hide the dancers. But in the confusion, the girls were locked in the air raid shelter just as Malachi opened the door. What is the meaning of this? Malachi demanded, staring at 3 young women in traditional Marani ceremonial robes, which Silas had hastily repurposed from the supply officer's gravity sink belt stash. It's a fire drill, sir, Pip shouted, appearing behind the Inquisitor. A very traditional, cultural fire drill. Baxter pointed a trembling finger at Silas. He's a madman, Inquisitor. He's been smuggling hula holograms into the bunkers. But the Exarch Karim stepped forward, his eyes twinkling. Nonsense, Commander Baxter. This fire drill was most invigorating, and the commander here has shown me the true heart of your people. Although, I must say, your Lieutenant Pip, his dancing is... Pip was currently entangled in a hula hologram's grass skirt. Malachi sighed. Baxter, get back to your medbed. You're clearly suffering from combat fatigue. Thorne, continue your duties. Chapter 4. The Laughing Gas Gambit. A week later, Silas found himself in a new predicament. Pip Penhaligon had managed to accidentally fire a torpedo into a galactic garbage scout, claiming he thought it was a cloaked enemy vessel camouflaged with potato peels. Commander Baxter, sensing blood in the water, convened a fitness board to strip Pip of his rank. He's a menace, Silas. A walking, talking catastrophe. I'm going to break him down to Seaman Second Class so fast his head will orbit the planet. Silas knew he had to save Pip. He consulted the base's dental officer, who had recently received a fresh shipment of nitrous oxide laughing gas, for the commander's